In the early days of World War II, the legendary Spitfire had a heart condition. While its Rolls-Royce Merlin engine was powerful, its carburetor was designed for level flight. Whenever a pilot performed a steep dive, a negative G maneuver, the fuel would surge, flooding the engine and causing it to cough and stall. German pilots flying Messerschmitts with fuel-injected engines quickly learned to exploit this. They could dive away to safety or flip the script and attack while the British planes were struggling to restart their engines. This terrifying mechanical failure, dubbed the English disease, cost many young RAF pilots their lives. A brilliant, low-tech fix. The solution didn't come from a high-ranking official, but from Beatrice Shilling, a young motorcycle racing engineer at the Royal Aircraft Establishment. She realized that the engine didn't need a complex overhaul. It just needed a way to regulate the chaos of the fuel flow. She designed a remarkably simple brass washer with a precisely calibrated hole in the center. By fitting this small disc into the fuel line, she created a restrictor that allowed exactly enough fuel for full power, but blocked the massive surge that caused flooding. Bypassing the bureaucracy despite the genius of her invention, Shilling met resistance from a skeptical air ministry. Refusing to let red tape stand in the way of saving lives, she and a trusted mechanic, Sergeant Harris, went rogue. They secretly fitted the first device into a Spitfire for an unauthorized test. When the pilot returned from his flight and reported that the engine hadn't flickered once during a dive, the effectiveness of the device was undeniable. Miss Shilling's orifice. Once the word got out, the RAF leadership took notice. Air Vice Marshal Keith Park skipped the usual paperwork and ordered the immediate rollout of the device. The mechanics in the field gave the brass disc a cheeky nickname, Miss Shilling's orifice. The impact was nearly overnight. Speed. In less than a month, roughly 3,000 aircraft were modified. Parity. British pilots could finally chase the Luftwaffe into dives without fear of engine failure. Morale. The psychological advantage returned to the RAF, drastically improving their success in the skies. Beyond the Shilling's orifice served as a vital stopgap until more advanced carburetors were introduced later in the war. She spent the rest of her career solving impossible engineering problems, from helping engines start in the freezing Russian winter to improving high-altitude flight. Awarded an OBE for her service, Shilling is remembered today not just as a brilliant engineer, but as a trailblazer who used simple logic to solve a problem that had stumped the military elite.